introduce one of our fabulous Invictus Games ambassadors, a legend of the silver screen and one of my favorite people in the world.
Hearing from wounded servicemen and women as they share their journey from darkness into light. We will hear how the power of sport has transformed their recovery, self-confidence, and joy of life. These men and women have been through hell and have survived against all odds. Sometimes it is easy to forget that being wounded in service or taken ill while enlisted affects more than just the individual. The stories you are about to hear embody the true meaning of Invictus. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce one of the faces of the games, Master Sergeant Israel Toro Jr.
Faith, honor, and always take care of your family. These are words I live by. These are words that my dad gave me. When I signed up for the Air Force, I was 22. I had already helped raise my brothers and sisters after losing my parents at a young age. I found that I loved my job in the military. I went to Bosnia, Iraq, Korea, and Italy. I finally found a family of my own, a son of my own. At this point, I made a promise to my son that I'll always be there for him. I got my orders to Afghanistan. I told my wife, and she gave me an ultimatum. I had to get out, or we were over. And it wasn't because she was being vindictive. It was because I always said that I wouldn't let my son grow up without his dad. But yet he was about to turn 3, and knew maybe 8 months out of his life. She didn't understand why I wanted to stay in. So I headed off to Afghanistan. The day I got hurt, I was out with my team. We were on our way to pick up the rest of my team, and we crossed the street, and I felt this intense heat blast on my left side. And I realized I just got hit. When I got hit, I thought of my family. Me and my wife were finally going to get married after our 3rd attempt by the church. We were going to go honeymoon in Greece. I was going to teach my boy how to play ball. But something clicked, and I got out of the truck. But when I got out, I was on fire from head to toe. I tried to run to the creek, but the flames overtook me, and I collapsed. And I lay there thinking, I broke my promise to my son. But that's when the LT helped me up and we both jumped into the creek. But my job didn't stop there, because when I got hit, my teammates that were going to pick up got caught in the crossfire, and they were asking for help. They were calling for Gunslinger, which is me, my call sign. So I had to do my job. But by the time I got done with the last transmission, I was getting tired and I wanted to sleep. I had a hard time breathing. I told Bailey, my medic, that I just wanted to rest. But my teammates knew if they let me rest, as badly injured as I was, I most likely were not going to wake up again. But the way they kept me awake was to remind me of my son. And it worked. They kept me up until the medevac came, and they wanted to move to the helicopter. But I said, nah. I walked into this fight. I'm gonna walk out, even though I was a little hurt and a little naked. That was December 4th, 2005. I wake up March of 2006. I was in a coma for 4 months. The day after my injury, my wife was notified on her birthday. My commander called her and told her what had happened to me. But her visa had expired and she had to figure out how to get to the States. She called the embassy there in Mexico and they told her, there's nothing we can do for you. When she told my teammates what had happened to her at the embassy, they were able to help her and get her by my side when I arrived at the hospital. Even though she got to the States, she had no money. She only had $100 in her pocket. She couldn't access our bank accounts, so she didn't have the card. She didn't have a social security number. English wasn't her first language. She had to leave her family and put my son in daycare with strangers. The choices Carmen had to make on my behalf, like amputating my fingers and other medical decisions, were hard on her. When she gave me the ultimatum, she didn't realize why I wanted to stay in. But when I got hurt, she understood. At this point, Carmen realized the military is a family, and she was never left alone. They had her back. They had my son's back. Once I woke from my coma, the doctors told me that my prognosis was grim. Third-degree burns on 80% of my body. 15% chance to live. Almost died 3 times. I was still going to be in the hospital for another year and a half. I'm never going to walk again. Be on a respirator for the rest of my life. And my military career was over. But the docs wanted to see what it was going to say. But I pretty much told them they can go to hell. From that day, I kept pushing. Throughout my recovery, I was told when I was in a coma, I had a special guest. President Bush had come to visit me. When you're as badly burned as I am, they skin you alive. so you don't get any infection on your skin. They keep the room at a 97-degree temperature at all times. And anyone that comes in has to be covered from head to toe. I was told that the president stood in my room talking to me for 20 minutes. He stood in my room longer than some of my family members did. And he comforted my wife in Spanish and said it will be okay.
Wow.
Throughout my journey, I never wished I died. That never crossed my mind until my darkest hour, when I saw my face for the first time. I was scared that if I thought I was a monster, what would my son think? At that point, I wanted to die. But Gary, my therapist, all he said was like, trust me, DT, all your boy wants is his son. And 2 months later, I left the hospital, walking and breathing on my own. I got to go home and see my family, but especially my son. And I walked into the house. I see my family, my teammates, and my wife calls to my son, and he comes running out, but all of a sudden stops. And that fear that my son was going to be afraid of me comes rushing back to my head. But he tilts his head and looks at me and says, Bobby? I said, yeah. And he runs up to me and gives me the most amazing hug I've ever had in my life. And Gary was right. All my son wanted was his dad. And it's been hard on me, but in some ways, it's been hard on my family. Attitude for anyone who's been injured. I beat the odds, unlike so many others. And it was only possible because I had hundreds of people who rallied around me and supported me. Like my teammates out in the field, my medical staff, the surgeons, the therapists, my teammates who rallied around my family, and the love of my amazing wife and son. And because of this support, I've been able to conquer all these obstacles. Like the legendary Phoenix, I'm reborn from these ashes and these flames. And baby, stronger. So stay strong and stay strong and never fucking quit.
really proud of you, my friend, and I want to thank all those who served our country. I love your example. I love the fact that when the docs told me that you might not make it, you made it. And I love the fact when they told me that, I told you that you'd never walk again, you said, I don't want to repeat the word. I love the example. I want our fellow citizens to know that if you think your life is miserable, look at my pal DT. He's overcome a lot. He's a huge contributor to our country. I'm really proud to call this friend. And for those of you who are out there, who are watching, who may have been in the military, and if you've got a invisible wound of war, follow his advice, seek help, and contribute to the future of our country. God bless you, my friend, and God bless America.
Cool. That was awesome.
Story touches our hearts today, but it's all more powerful when you realize that the story of this one family is told in thousands of similar stories around the world. DT's physical injuries are a bad product that demonstrates his service to the world. But he doesn't see them as limitations. In fact, he has several firsts to his credit. DT is the first 100% disabled airman to re-enlist. World-class athlete in the Air Force. And he is ranked #1 in the U.S. for his classification in shot put, javelin, and discus.